But the truce in 92, after the Rodney King incident, I watched the society unify, lock up, blood, crip, and everything. When it this my uncles, like because we spoke about OGs have been revolutionary. My uncles was OGs, but they told me the little red Levi tag you had on your pants, if you had that coming in the hood, you would get beat up for that little bitty Levi tag that was on your pants. So
Wow.
that was but in my time growing up, so they OGs, they had OBGs, they had BGs and OTGs and then TGs. I'm a OTG. So as generations down, like ranks down. So from his generation to mine, my homeboys was they would be get flamed up. They flamed up is basically we're all red in the hood. And it was no problem. It wasn't even about the color you wore. It was more about the hat you wore. So it's certain hats that today, even though I'm not pro Crippin' and Blood, I'm Black Power banging, and I think that that's some bullshit and it ain't did shit for the community. Even though that certain hats I still won't wear because it's just psychologically in me. You know what I mean? So just how strong that is and how strong the propaganda when even taught by us. We don't even understand we teaching the propaganda. My homeboys had me in a position to where I was ready to destroy man I don't know because they killed man I don't know. So my big homies that was from the hood, that if they was living, they'd be my big homies. I never met them. They died before me. But the wars because he died. When I come in, it was be over. They say these people did it. I'm supposed to come in hating them.
Right.
That is so thick in Los Angeles. Now, if you take that, just Crippin' and Blood. Now I say Los Angeles, period, because Crippin' and Blood didn't start in Compton, and there ain't no Bloods in Compton. It's only Power Rules. Power Rules and Bloods different. I didn't even know because I remember the first time I started hanging around Power Rules. Compton is only 10 square miles. 5 miles this way, north and south, 5 miles east and west. It's 10 square miles. And it's only Crips and Power Rules, and they got essays in there too, but mainly Crips and Power Rules at the time I was coming up. And I never been around Power Rules to where when I actually got exposed to them, the only time we was around when we was fighting each other, but when I actually got exposed to them to realize that damn, y'all really do this, y'all really love this, y'all really do, like they're the opposite of. Then I start to see they just like us, and it just didn't sit right with me. It's why Black Power banging came because of the blue and red chucks. You feel me?
Right.
When I broke out of that, I realized that it was those within that was so immersed in the propaganda of we supposed to hate each other. Yeah. To where now we was homeboys, we was willing to go destroy the world together. But now you against me because I'm like, we can't destroy that part of the world.
Right.
You feel me? This shit is so thick to where we're teaching each other propaganda now.
Right. Because when you pull back the layers, you see who really behind it all. Once you get deeper.
Because you mentioned the homie Baby Lane, and that's because of the conversation earlier. Let me get on that real quick. So, like I was telling you, I'm gonna tell the story. So, I growing up, Los Angeles, I'm talking about. I got pictures of my mama throwing up gang signs in junior high. You feel me? So just to know, like me coming up in it, my cousins, everybody from seemed to be from somewhere. It's a saturation point at the time I'm coming up in the 80s, right? And I'm walking to the store, heroin needles, spoons, crack baggies, like I'm able to identify all of it. Never actually, even if I never actually seen it, I'm able to identify what's what because of the streets. And in smokers, we walk to the store navigating around smokers, and we can even get on how smokers in that time frame, you could pay them to do something to get something done around your house for cheap.
Yeah.
Now, we don't really look at that we was able to pay them cheaply to get an expensive job done for cheap. That means that smoker had a skill. So when we start thinking about this, when we really start thinking about it, they killed a skill base in our community. They actually worked for their drugs. The drug addicts coming up today don't work for their drugs. It's basically gonna go all sexual. But and that's a whole nother topic. We have to get on that. And how the United States is set up for sex tourism for the rest of the world.
Oh yes.
But so me coming up in this time, drug addicts, and then the ones that's powerful, the drug dealers, I'm thinking that they can't stop this because I see the police try to stop drug selling. I remember the batter ram. The batter ram is when they had an actual tank knocking down walls of houses. I remember seeing that thing knock down walls of houses, and then even seeing the after effect of the houses. I didn't see the whole living room wall gone. So with that, thinking that they can't stop us, no matter how much they try, when the Tupac shit happened, and they rushed into my house, got the big homie Lil Duck, and I put me and my uncle sitting on the couch in handcuffs. By the time I get out the handcuffs, and it was a gang of cap guns and marksman repeaters that I actually took from the gun. They took all the stuff out of my room and put them on the TV, but it wasn't real anyway. But and then I get out on my bike and I go around. I'm about to go around telling the homies, look, the boys just raided my house. I'm thinking it was just me that they hit. You know, they want the homie. I don't know what the homies did. When I went outside, I stopped at my car. I lived in a duplex, right? So coming from the back of duplex, riding out, and I stopped on the curb looking at the street. There was I remember this van coming from Tishner, making a right on Temple, and then made another right on Caldwell. You know, and deep man, I seen so many fucking cops hanging around that. Then I seen narc cars hitting corners. The way they was moving and speeding around the neighborhood like they was the homies. How the homies speed around the neighborhood. They simultaneously raided my neighborhood and mob at the same time. Now, after that situation, it was a back and forth, a war between mob. It's like straight up every day, multiple times shooting back and forth. After that raid, it was over. When I tell you the overwhelming force that they came with, and me going around the hood, I used to ride down Temple to Glencoe. I see about 25 homies out. I go on Burris and Burris Lane. That's where Baby Lane and Keefe D and all them from, Burris Lane. I see about 20 of the homies out. Go to the park, about 15, 20 of the homies out. Chester homies out. When I didn't, it was a ghost town, and the only thing was the OTGs. I realized the power that they had then. They had the power to shut it down the whole time.
Right.
But they gave us enough rope to hang ourselves. And that also gave me a paradigm shift to where it's like, hold on, something is up. And another thing, if you look at this picture, let me shut this off. That picture that's on there that I put up, that's the Compton Core building. That's the only building in Compton. Okay. The only building in Compton. Besides apartments, it's a court building.
Wow.
That's in the middle of the city, and they use it to prosecute us. So now outside that court building, there's a monument that two brothers, because a brother actually designed that. He was an architect. And that monument is the Martin Luther King monument. And the monument, because it was inspired by one of the speeches that he said when he came from the mountaintop. And it was symbolic of the mountaintop. You know what I mean? Just for people who ever know that Compton symbol that's in the middle of Compton. And there's cats in the city that didn't know that. But we got this monument. We got history and Douglas, Dollarhide, streets and things of that nature. And we start to destroy each other. Compton was at its height, I think like 85% black. It's right now like 25 to 30% black. We lost the city. The West Coast, pretty much we lost the West Coast because of our steady destruction of each other. So when Black Power banging, it's a war for black against black to get black back black. When we start looking at us like the sister said, us focusing on us, we don't gotta hate nobody. We just gotta focus on us and love us more than everybody else.
Bro. New Year. Happy New Year. We're going to launch 2026 off right with a new remix film with new AI added features, right?